Hello, everyone.
Like a ball taking out the
Yes.
box. Evening all.
Evening.
How you doing, Stuart?
Not too bad yourself.
I'm pretty good. Been editing bits and bobs. Today we are going back and talking about Discovery again. It finished, but has it finished for us?
No.
And that's an ad playing. Skip the ad. How's everyone doing tonight?
Hope everyone is well. So yeah, a lot of them here are probably thinking it's about season 2, but it's actually about the last episode because I named it wrong apparently.
Yes, 'cause I don't think you remember. I certainly remember all of season 2. Yes, the finale happened. Almost a double episode. We got top 10 favorite things from that episode. Tomorrow we've got our least favorite 10 things in the episode. You know, have a nice balance there, and be positive today.
Yay, positivity.
Yes, because there are always good things, and this is just one of those. So when we did the favorite J.J. Abrams universe things, it was interesting. You know, what things gave us joy out of those universes.
There's always good to be found in these things. So
Yes, so I will share then, and you can vamp to our audience.
yay. So yeah. Hopefully you guys have your own favorite things about this episode specifically. Like you said, we're gonna try to do 10 favorite today. I don't know if I can find 10. We'll see. And tomorrow we'll do our least favorite from the episode, and then we'll probably do some on the season as a whole at some point as well. So anyway, yeah. So if you guys want to super chat and put in your favorite things, that'd be totally awesome. If you have any comments or questions for us, please feel free to do that. Yes, I got my haircut, everyone. Yay. And it doesn't look great today, but that's okay. I bet the D is on the list. What? I didn't see that in this episode, so no. Oh, the D7. Yes. We'll get to that when we get to that, though. But anyway, the torpedo scene. No, that's probably for tomorrow. Just saying. Polish gamer puts in £5. Thank you very much. Hey guys, just wanted to send stuff your way and say hey. Also just wanted to say really love the episode and agree. There's a lot of good and bad, as there tends to be in these. We're thinking of maybe looking at some TNG after we're done with Discovery here, and doing some episode reviews on that TNG season 1 to see how it stacks up. Because everybody complains that there's plot holes and stuff in all Star Trek, and we're like, yes, we agree, because we like pointing those things out. So, but yeah, oh man, I don't even know where to start.
Well, at number 10. Right, if you want, I can start at number 10 because I have an actual 10 list.
Yeah, I haven't made it to 10 yet, so. Go ahead. You give me yours.
Well, I'm almost finished sharing. Why don't you guys in the audience say a couple of your favorite things, and then maybe that can give us some ideas. I'm like a minute away, so just in this minute, guys, if you can.
Yes. No, I got busy, and then I didn't have a chance to make the entire list, but I have like 8, so I don't have the full 10 yet. So. I mean, once the conversation starts, I'm sure I'll pick up more things, or maybe even shuffle some around or remove some if there's better stuff. Because you guys are always great at the conversation in the chat. Well, yeah, I just thought of one. Thanks to you guys. So, there we go. People are saying ship shots is great. People are getting the alerts that we're live. That's good. That's a good thing. Blue phasers. Yeah, that's a small thing. I didn't actually put that on my list, but it could go in my list.
Okay, shall I start then?
Sure, go ahead, shoot.
So my number 10, I have got visuals because I'm fancy like that. My number 10 in the episode is the 2, and it's again a sort of a cheat. is the 2 wormhole effects created by the Red Angel. You've got
Mm.
the one at the end, which is a far more conventional, big, fun, fancy, quite gorgeous effect, which just looks really, really nice. It's a nice rendition of a wormhole. And then the, that's the ship travel version that the thing can apparently do. And the second version being the single-person version, where it's much more like a black hole. And I like the going from 3D to 2D effect. I thought that was very well done. Just interesting visuals that I was like, yeah, actually pretty cool.
Yeah, the 2D thing was a nice touch because Event Horizons of black holes really distort things, so it was really, really well done.
Although it was a wormhole, not a black hole, so I'm not sure why it would do that. It's a visual representation rather than a literal.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my number 10 most favorite thing of that episode.
Well, fine then. You know what my number 10 is? And this might be a shorter episode than 2 hours, guys. We'll see.
Depends how you guys are.
That's right. We have another super chat, which we'll get to in a second, but I'm going to put my number 10 out there as the wormhole effect that we see on Discovery, which is very reminiscent of what we see in the motion picture. They kind of did the streaking off of the colors, which was nice. It was a nice touch. So yeah, that's going to be my number 10. It's going to...
Nice.
And yeah, even when she goes through the first wormhole, the whole very similar to Spock's little EVA suit mission in the motion picture as well. Very similar visuals there. So
awesome.
Polish Gamer puts in £5 and says, my favorite thing is basically the whole ending after Discovery goes to the future. Thought that whole scene was utterly awesome and got me excited. Yeah, it was like a beginning of a new series, if you will. So
I mean, it created more canon problems than it solved almost, but you know.
Wow.
That's what happens, though.
That's just for us on the Canonista front.
Yes. But it was, that whole scene had that's not in my list, so I guess we can talk about it off to the side to give a super chat. That scene's very much a cathartic scene, I think. It's a nice cleanse. The tone is slightly different. The shooting is slightly different. The Enterprise looks beautiful. San Francisco looks beautiful. It's more of a... And something Trek at the end of that season.
Yeah. Clivoid puts in $5.
Thank you.
Like that Discovery seemed to be the toughest ship in existence. Yeah, not a mark on her when it was after the battle was done, even though she was getting pummeled pretty good.
This is true. I mean, hull armor.
You know why?
Ooh.
It's because of those DOT 7s. They're like remarkable at polishing that hull after a battle.
Oh, a DOT stands for don't over tarnish. They buff stuff out. I didn't know where I was going until I got there, guys. Just like Discovery.
And Captain Ron Phillips was in $2. Thank you. Best thing about season 2 was Trekyards reviews. Aw, that's so nice.
Super kind, thank you. Super kind.
Damien House says, love the fact that Trekyards became the new After Trek and did it better. Ooh, that's a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, we did.
Which we just could have had the actors on.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We'll try. Okay, so my number 9... I have to keep swapping folders here because I had to find your number 10. That's okay. Number 9, I've actually forgotten what it is. And I've also got 3 honourable mentions as well. Oh yeah, I call it the truly fleet battle shot. Because this whole episode, it's always drone combat, and drone combat is very abstract. You know, dozens of explosions, hundreds of explosions happen for ships, places, people. There's no sense of anything really happening except stuff, and that's not good enough if you want to really enjoy a battle. But in the middle, there's a moment when Discovery is shot by 8 different phaser beams, and then return. The Enterprise also gets hit by multiple. It fires multiple. It gets hit by multiple, and you reveal that all of the smaller ships, all of the Section 1 capital ships, are finally, for the first time, halfway in the battle, actually firing their main weapons. And you've never seen this sort of epic mass cross beam effect before, with a ship just getting pummeled, and this shot's gorgeous of the ship getting hit every which way. Its shields are getting just it's like actually a fleet ship shot that you just don't get in the episode. And when we actually got one, it looked really good. I was really happy with it. We don't often see, like I say, that many phaser batteries going, and that many ships firing, and that many just blue phasers, despite them using red phasers a few other places in the battle. But this is a cool blue phaser extravaganza. And do you remember the shot now you've seen it live?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my number 9, because it was actually a fleet battle
And
shot.
Jean-Luc Picard in the chat says first. Yeah, Jean-Luc Picard in the chat says first time caught you guys live and engaged. So Jean-Luc Picard is here. He just started filming his new series yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad he could take time out of his schedule to come on and chat with us. Thank you, Jean-Luc.
Thank you, Jean-Luc.
I just shouted you out, Jean-Luc, even though you just said what? No shout out from you guys after I said something. So, snap. Anyway, Polish Gamer puts in £2 and says DOT stands for dumb overused tech.
Not yet overused, but one shot.
Yeah. Well, and somebody said, was it us that was comparing it to the suit in the TNG tech manual? And yes, it was. We mentioned it.
It was you, Stuart. I did nothing. You found it. You had it.
Yeah, I mentioned it in my first reaction review, then the review the day after, and today we actually filmed an episode on the DOT7s, and it'll be available for you guys to watch soon. So stay tuned.
So what do you think of my number 9 pick then?
It was awesome. Ties in with mine, which I stole from somebody in the chat. The blue phasers.
Is that your number 9 then?
Yes.
Number 9. Well, you have to say it properly. Say it like an announcer.
Oh, and my number 9, because I hate numbering anything, so mine are all not in order, by the way. They're just blue phasers, everyone. Hey, which is better than blue other things, but I won't mention that. But
and why is this extra good for you?
Because they're TOS phasers. They're blue. And because it's very Starfleet battles, because there's multiple phaser turrets on the Connie, which is nice. Very takes me back to Starfleet battles. So
yes, and gosh, look at this shot that I've got up alive now. It actually shows the Enterprise firing 2 phaser beams at the section of the one ship, and it firing 2 back. Although one of the weird things about the Discovery verse is, I mean, there's multiple things, but the ship's being hit by phaser blasts, and there's 3 explosions happening on the ship. But they're all from the shields. So it's getting hit by weapons, but it's not getting hit by weapons. It's not doing anything. And it's one of those weird, abstract, look, explosions that aren't causing any damage to the ship. It doesn't quite have that same... Everything gets dulled down if kinetic energy... the feel of it is just... Oh, no, it's just petrol explosions happen when it hits shields.
Love how you call them that. Petrol explosions.
Well, they are.
A very British review.
Yes.
Eco6D puts in $4.99. Thank you very much. Haven't seen Discovery, but y'all's work on season 2 have me about convinced to maybe shell out for DVDs or even gasp a couple of months of CBS All Access. Well, thank you. I feel bad for you paying for CBS All Access, to be fair, because I don't have to pay for it in Canada here.
And I don't for Netflix here.
But it's just silliness.
I would recommend waiting for the Blu-ray, because you'll have the highest quality. You'll get... I mean, I was disappointed no commentaries on season 1, but I think they'd be worried about who would say what, because the interviews are very carefully edited. It's not like true feelings come out and such. I mean, in subtle ways, but... And if you look at behind the scenes, they're pretty much all from episodes 1, 2, and 3, despite the majority of the season being not about episodes 1, 2, and 3. It's very focused on the fact that we've got a woman captain, despite the season being about the Mirror Universe and Lorca and all these big plot stuff, and yet not being at all part of the... Very weird set behind the scenes. They probably made them 60 days in and then just didn't make any more. So I'm hoping season 2 has some commentaries and has some... Because I don't know if you know, but the Doctor Who commentaries, when they started in... sorry, tangent, but... the Doctor Who and the Red Dwarf commentaries, which are both, British TV shows, and they were older shows when the DVDs were made. They'd already been out for years. And this was bought before the more PC culture came about and before more strict guidelines. And if you watch the original DVD and of either, a lot of the commentaries actually have the actors saying they hated moments. They thought the script was absolutely awful. They complain, in a jokey way, oh, this is absolutely awful. Yeah. Because in Doctor Who, some of the early ones, it is actually cardboard sets, and there's a bit where one of the doctors actually breaks down because he's like, this scene was absolutely awful. We all knew it was stupid going on. There's so many problems, and the companions just laughing and joking. And Doctor Who again, Redorf as well. They're complaining about things, and I hated Rimmer in that scene. I mean, I hated the actor. I actually punched him off camera. All these real truth facts that you can tell. There's no censoring. There's no whatever. It's just stuff. And
that's why there's this disclaimer at the beginning. The views expressed in these commentaries don't necessarily reflect.
It's real memories from real people. But now you wouldn't even expect it'd all be about something else more clinical if they did commentaries. That's why I think a lot of times they don't do commentaries, because you've got to actually really go through them. But yeah, buy Season 2 Blu-ray just because of the special features and hopefully commentaries and the better quality, and you'll get short tracks, I'm sure. So that'd be my long form recommendation.
Yeah. And Jean-Luc Picard has put in 2 $1 donations, so thank you very much, Jean-Luc.
Thank you, sir.
Now that you're starting your new series, I'm sure you can afford more than $2 super chats. Just saying.
So you're cheap, Captain, is what we're saying.
And Bill Long, he said I didn't. Bill Longpree puts in $5 Canadian. That was an awesome pickup by you, Captain. Only place to even pick that up. Oh, about the suits.
Yes.
And yeah. Well, immediately that's what I thought when I. Because look, like I said, we'll be doing an episode on that, talking about it soon that you guys can check out. So.
And Todd says any ideas when Season 2 Blu-rays will come out? A while. It took quite a while to come out first time round, so I would say a while for this time. And for some reason, Orville Blu-rays haven't even existed. They've released DVDs, but not Blu-rays. I'm quite disappointed by that.
Yeah, I still haven't got any. I still haven't got Season 1 of Discovery on DVD or Blu-ray. So
It looks good in Blu-ray. They're the better visual quality for sure. If you care about such things, but we don't in our day and age. Oh,
I do.
I was quoting Insurrection.
Fine.
The boobs.
But I know mine are firm and perky, so not that I care. Anyway,
my number 8.
Do we have to do seriously count down? Can we just say favorite things?
I've got mine in order, so I'm going to do them in order. Yours are out of order, whatever.
I'm just going to throw mine are all out of order, guys. Okay. Just so you know.
My number
Polish. 8. No, you're not doing your number 8 right now because Polish Gamer put in £5 because
he does take priority.
He's amazing. Yes. Is there a difference between the Netflix and Blu-ray releases of the shows, mostly for Samuel, as he's interested? He UK too. What?
They might change them, but a few things we hoped they'd change in Season 1. They didn't. They could have just changed in post. But
let me guess. Let me guess what your number 8 is. Is it the new Section 31 ship? Jean-Luc Picard is now not cheap. He put in $4.99. Thank you. With no comment though.
Well, CBS dollars.
There was no British Frenchman comment.
So does that mean CBS is paying us? If CBS is paying Jean-Luc Picard to be in their new show, and then he's paying us to do Trekyards?
Don't give away our secrets now.
Are we still in first favourite things, guys? Yes. Although it won't take that long, apparently. So yeah, my number 8 is the new Section 31 ships. I thought it was unexpectedly nice to see a variety. While severely underused, underseen, and underappreciated, I love the new roll bar, which is visible in one shot. One shot. And I just like the fact that whoever was doing the CGI, that who's in the art team there, was just like, oh yeah, I can just kit bash a couple of quick ones, and you can tell they're like 2-day builds with simple textures and simple whatevers. But at the distance they were, the function they had, they actually added something to the battle. Although, again, we don't really highlight upon them. And I think when we get the Eagle Moss versions, we'll see how plain and simple they are. Not in a bad way, just they're not designed to be epic hero models. Discovery likes to do cheap-looking models when they can. Whereas, even fan films tend to over-detail. Like, Tobias always is over-detailed. Doesn't matter what the ship is, he always sort of overdoes it a little bit. As is, other shows. But yeah, I thought they were good ships. I mean, even the smaller one, which we obviously is episode 3. But yeah, what do you think, my number 8, Stuart? Your thoughts on my?
I agree with you. I'm not a fan of all the ships necessarily. I mean, we got 2 new ones, I guess. 2 new Section 31 ships in this battle. The other one we knew about. right? Because we only see 3 different styles, I think.
Well, yeah, we see 2 of the same but one's a 2 nacelle, one's a 4 nacelle, because the Miranda has a 4 nacelle version and a 2 nacelle version.
But it's not the same. It's a different ship. The 2 nacelle lower slung one with the roll bar is different than the 4 nacelle Baran style one. Is what I'm saying.
Sorry, yes, the 4 nacelle Baran also has a 2 nacelle version.
I did not know that.
Yes, there's a 4 nacelle, 2 nacelle, and a different 2 nacelle. But the 2 are a kit bash of the same thing. Yes.
Okay, we'll go with that. I like the Reliant style one with the roll bar, personally. But the Baran style one is kind of cool.
Yeah. Dan23. Yes, Seth MacFarlane hasn't released Blu-rays of Family Guy or American Dad except for the Family Guy Star Wars films he did. Huh. That's weird. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so my next one is just the battle shots, but specifically the one where the Enterprise is sweeping in to like take the bullet, basically take the drones for discovery. That was such a great moment, and they really stepped up their game as far as Star Trek battles for this episode. Lots of flash and things going on, but again, yeah, it's flash for the sake of flash, I think, but it's fine.
Yeah, they were definitely good, although it's weird to see the ships don't move except the couple of times they move. But you would think they would need to always move to sort of avoid some hits. I mean, these ships are so lack of strategy, it's kind of laughable. But so when they do move, it's like, yeah, that's a cool maneuver. But although when you're surrounded, you're still getting hit from all sides. So protect the weak flank doesn't quite work. You're being hit by every, or at least, I guess 2D every angle because they don't like that far above or that far below. And how do you think these space battles compare to season 1's space battles?
Well, there weren't many. I mean, I remember the one with the Gagarin, which was pretty good. It's just very short and didn't see too much. But this was really interesting. Just the situation that they were in, like all of the small vessels. It was something new, and all the flak explosions, or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I think was better than season 1. I think they did learn their lesson as far as the ship shots went, so that was good.
Yeah.
Troy Macy though puts in $4.99 and says the pickup about the suits was, if memory serves, was the chat and the captain brainstorming about it. What? The pickup about the suits was, if memory serves, was the chat and the captain brainstorming about it. During the live, yes. Yeah, because I thought it was in one of the other technical manuals. I thought it was in Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise, and I checked that and then couldn't find it. And then somebody mentioned the TNG one. I'm like, that's where it is. Went and grabbed my TNG manual and found it right away. So yes, Troy, you are right. It was kind of a brainstorming session. But you gonna say something?
Yes, Exeris 2005 said Star Trek is not really known to show highly mobile starships in battle. Most of the times they are rather stationary. Yes, but there's context to that. TOS, they were using the same stock shots again and again and again, and adding weapons on. TNG, again, it was always miniatures, they'd be very careful what they did, and again, they couldn't move them very much. DS9, they were stationary up until DS9, and then they actually had quite a bit of motion. If you look at Enterprise, they were very motion-filled, because they had CG, and then JJ Films, again, quite a lot of motion. So, as technology improved, they got more motion-y. There's some really big Enterprise motion shots. And in Discovery, you'd expect them to at least find a balance. And so it's weird when they stay motionary. In Season 1, so they don't, except Sokovka ship, which doesn't do anything. But it's just a context of the battle that the battle is such that you're not meant to think about the battle. It's just meant to be, here's the formation, let's deal with the characters. The ship surviving isn't much of a point. Would have been kind of cool though if the full battle had in real time only been like 5 minutes. They'd said early on, like, sir, based on the weapons power of the section they won, 31 ships, we can only survive 7 minutes of constant battle. So everything happens in 7 minutes, and that would be more realistic because, like, well, we can't do many maneuverings in that, rather than, you know, an hour, and they can survive. Doesn't seem that likely. etc.
Yeah. Well, Clive put in $2 and says Eagle Moss 31 ships will be sweet. They will. I wonder if they'll come out individually or if they do it as a 3-pack. I don't think they'll do that. They did that with the shuttles, and I have yet to review my shuttle packs for Eagle Moss. But it's cool that they get so many in there. And then Jill puts in $2 and says Wilson Cruz confirmed that Hugh was in fact real.
Good.
Because he was supposed to be on the Enterprise, and it just seemed odd the way he first appeared with a kind of a flash of light. It was like, is this really happening, or what's going on? So thank you very much, Jill, for confirming that. That is awesome.
I think that's just like the Borg sense. It's like they just had a visual that they went with, but we took that as extra. You know, Section 31's controls don't meant to look like the Borg. They just happened to do shots that look similar. He came in like a halo. No, it was not. There was no, you know, secondary secret thing. It's just no, they just did. It's fine. He's there. So put too much thought into it.
And Polish Gamer again puts in £5. Thank you very much. The battle feels like background, so it's weird. They spent so much money on the CG, making it so elaborate, too elaborate in my opinion. The battle was kind of secondary. You did see it a lot in the distance when Spock and Burnham were messing with the suit, and it did seem overly long. I don't think it was really representative of the length of the battle, because I think it would have been much shorter, as you said, for like 5 minutes kind of thing. Just it's spread out over an hour because there's so much going on. So I don't know.
That's why it would have been better if they'd done that whole Discovery had been destroyed, Enterprise had been destroyed, she jumps back and undoes it. Would let you have a really epic battle and then be believable, and then because I can't imagine that Control wouldn't come in with a very distinct plan that would let him win relatively easily. You know, you have a million ships, and but Rust Knuckle Iron Gut, ships not moving is in space battles sounds more plausible, as maneuvering is kind of pointless when projectiles are moving at light speed. Yes, but the projectiles aren't moving at light speed. We know you can dodge them because they do. There's a shot where the shuttles are firing at drones and drones dodges them. So you can say that, but practically speaking, they don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not really how the weapons work. They should, but they don't. But it's like my dad always says, stormtroopers,
exactly.
It should be instant death. I mean, there's no reason to miss, and it's instant. But the fact that you can see them proves they're not, using actual thing, and that's fine.
That's one of the flaws with the phasers, unfortunately. But it's a cool visual. Otherwise, it would be too easy.
Okay, so that was yours, battle in general. My number, I have no idea. What are we at? 5. Oh, way down to 5.
We're not at 5. We're at 7, I think. 6 or 7.
Yes, sorry, you're at 8. Yes, my number 7. Sorry, confuse me. My number 7 is the San Francisco shot. It's glorious. A real breath of fresh air as well. I felt the air.
Fresh breath of sea air? San Francisco?
I felt the air. I believe they said in an interview that they did use some real photography and then they digitally did on top of it, which would be a logical way of doing it, because replicating all this photo real would be difficult, and actually tracking it is slightly easier. And so that's why it looks so good, because it's just a real thing that's expertly put digital stuff onto. It doesn't look like Star Trek per se. The buildings in the background, they are sort of generic sci-fi. There's nothing like, oh, that's a Trek building, per se. But the vibe is nice. Although, seeing the Discovery shuttles, you're thinking, well, why don't you put, there's a chance to put other shuttles, because, why using all the warp shuttles, and why are they not this, and this? It's like, they could have done, because whatever.
They should have had like a Class F shuttle, like very TOS looking, just kind of in the background, going under the bridge or something. That would have been a neat little nod. But
yeah, if this was other shows, they would have put like Easter eggs in this one just because. But no, it's just a beautiful shot.
And somebody on YouTube, I watched it just the other day, did a quick video of this shot compared with the one from the motion picture of the bridge. And all the references to the bridge we see in the movies, and it's really interesting because there's kind of this same thing on top. It's not really like solar panels, but it's something on top, and then there's like you can see like some kind of traffic underneath, like shuttle cars almost. So it's really cool the way they did this. Somebody complained about the solar panels at one point, and I'm like, what else is I going to use a bridge for in that time? I mean, the transportation's kind of in the middle part, and you don't need something on top. So,
well, the thing is, I didn't for 1 second think they were solar panels. Didn't occur to me at all. I mean,
that's the first thing I thought when I saw them, to be honest. But
they're so far in the future, they don't need them. I mean, it's such an irrelevant piece of technology. I assume they were just like shutters that would then close or something. I mean, in the motion picture, I believe it's blue, like a blue box on top of it, and that's how it's just like its own separate, to look different, and so you don't have to see the cars going through. So I assume it's just like a sunroof that you can then close to get the sun in or not. I mean, I don't know why it would be solar panels. I don't see any reason there would be. Like I said, there's better things to do than that for the space. But I mean, one warp core a mile that way could generate more power. To what I mean, there's no reason to have that, and it kind of hurts the look of the monument as a. Like you would think you keep it classic for heritage sake. It's like you don't add solar panels onto the Eiffel Tower. It's what it looks like. Like you don't.
That would probably improve it, to be fair. Just plate it all with, so it looks like a futuristic building. Just like plate it all with like solar panels. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so I don't believe those solar panels for a second. Didn't even occur to me. It just looks like the rough roof that's just open from the last time. But I think just the shot's lovely.
And John Harrison puts in £5. Thank you very much, John. The biggest giant head wants to know, do you think we will see new ships in season 3 and an Enterprise? Not sure if it be Enterprise J or K. I know we will not see the Enterprise. It won't be J, and we'll see new ships of some kind. The sad thing is, they just listened to the fans and gave us D7s, and now they cannot use those models again unless they. I mean, they can always use them again for something, but it's just like it seems like kind of a waste. So, yeah. And Jeff Jacobs puts in $3. Sorry. Let's get some likes to go with over 200 viewers. Yes, 220 viewers. So thank you.
Thank you.
Like button. Anyway.
What was the comment? It was I mean, we're gonna get, I bet, some sort of really alien-looking VFX race. No makeup, all CG. It's gonna have organic ships that are gonna be really big, Stuart. Really blue, really evil-looking. Lots of spikes and massive.
Blue.
Kind of like Narada, just like evil looking, lots of glowy bits, and it fires organic, see-through, glowing torpedoes. That's different, and it's going to be a hive mind species, but not like the Borg. Like it's, every crew member on the ship is a neural link.
Like species 8472, all CGI and weird and creepy.
Yeah, exactly. But something truly alien. Because then they don't want to do rubber foreheads, although we'll see more Andorians and stuff on the crew that we never saw before, but so that they can fill off that roster. But yeah, no Enterprise. We're long past Enterprises. There shouldn't be any Federation ships at all. Although I would hope, beyond hope, that they are actually at Terralysium in a different quadrant, so we don't have to. I don't want the answer to the question of does the Federation exist in the 32nd century. It's like, yes, it should. Don't tell me it doesn't. If it does, you should ask for help. Just be so far away you can't reach them. Even though she's got a interdimensional, intergalactic, she could just jump them to Earth.
But by that point, if the Federation still exists, they'd have the technology to travel that distance, no problem. So the Federation would be there anyway. So
if they choose to be. Well, to be fair, they would detect a temporal rift and relativity, or Daniels's great grandson would be like, oh, temporal rift, average day of work. Because you've got to think of that in that point in the timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, temporal stuff isn't anything special.
And it'll be it'll be the legend of the Discovery crew, because it's not talked about really, but there's rumors that there was this myth of the Discovery that disappeared through time, and there's going to be a welcoming committee there going, hey, how's it going, Discovery? You did exist. Yay, good on you guys.
And it shouldn't be the craft future either, because that doesn't really connect to anything at this point. it can't be the future that Control came from because Control killed everyone. If it's the future from
Hmm.
after, then Federation's been destroyed, which is after all the time tech, in which case you would think it wouldn't let itself be destroyed, because time tech, relatively, is still out there either way, and Daniel's still out there either way. I don't know. They put themselves into a slight corner, that's why they should be in the Delta Quadrant, Gamma Quadrant, different galaxy. Like, if you really want to be different, be different. Don't just be like, well, the Federation's gone and dead, and then we know, well, the Federation's only got 400 years left, that's sad, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to think that, you want to... And they're not
Well,
smart writers to do anything that clever, so you've got to just go super out there.
this is where I'm kind of concerned that it's going to tie in with the Picard series in some way. I mean, if they do it properly, it should be good, but it still is going to piss a lot of people off that didn't enjoy Discovery, so it's better just to keep them separate, both of those things. But
Andrew Sepp says, maybe the Federation of the 32nd century helped the crew get back, but cannot get the ship back. But we know that their relativity can send Aeon time ships across any part of the quadrant instantly, from Earth to Delta Quadrant in 1 second, and then get Voyager back to Earth via time rift. So no, they can plenty of tech.
but that's in our reality. This is obviously a different reality, so there's no relativity.
Certainly.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's your next one then? Mine was the San Francisco shot.
Mine is Jet Reno, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Really liked her in this episode. There wasn't much going on with her, but I did like the way she talked to Saru. Get off my ass! Get off my ass, sir! And just her interact, like that scene with Tilly, I thought was really fun. I really like that character. Need to see more of her in season 3 for sure. But yeah, just something quick. You probably don't even have a picture of that.
No, but I can grab one quickly.
No, you don't need to.
And she's a better balance than the Queen was, who just came in being very 2019, not geek, not chav, the hipster, you know. And Jet Reno is just like, I mean, I know more than all of you about engineering, so I'm here to do my job better than you. You let me do my job, better than you are.
Yeah. And Xerxes 205 or 2005 says Tilly's face when she said that. Yeah. And she said, "Kiss my ass, sir," was hilarious. Did you hear that? Or did I phase out? Okay, good.
At least something similar, yeah.
Can never tell because it like freezes on my end sometimes.
Oh. Yeah, she's a good character, although kind of shoehorned. She's both shoehorned and not shoehorned. It's like, if she's important, she should be there quite a bit as engineer. If she's not important, and you can forget about her until you need her, then you're just forcing the actress in because why not? You know what I mean? It's a weird balance. It's like if you had Kess in season 1, this meant to be an important character with Neelix, and she's only in 3 episodes. When they go to his quarters, it's like, well, that wasn't important at all. Well, I wonder if her future crystal experience will come back in season 3. They'll be like, ooh, what's that going to be? Because she shouldn't see the same future that Burnham saw, because she always started changing that future. So maybe she saw the ultra future in a different galaxy.
Interesting.
But definitely she should be, a chief engineer figure. I wouldn't mind if... Because you think the chief engineer would even stay on Discovery? Or move over to Enterprise?
She should be chief engineer for season 3. It'd be interesting to see who actually... None of the regular cast did, but yeah, we lost our chief engineer to Enterprise. And we need somebody now. But the chief medical officer's still there, so Hugh can't take over for her.
No, she's not chief medical. She was just a medical lieutenant. Still don't know who the chief medical is. Somebody
said CMO during that conversation. So that's chief medical officer.
Maybe she got upgraded, wherever it was. Well, that's good to someone mentioned it, but it's not the lieutenant lady, unless lieutenant is the chief medical, which should be weird. But yeah, I mean, they haven't said the chief engineer stayed around, so you can either just say died or moved on. And I think Jet's been a relative success, although I bet she would get grading as well. Like, you have to use her very specifically, because if someone's just there to tell you you're stupid and do your job better, like, that's not a good character. You've got to be relatable and nice and interesting as well, and have chemistry with people. and she's only had scenes with Stamets at this point, really. And the whole point of them is to say I'm better than you. So I wonder how she'd really work as a chemistry thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $4.99.
Cool.
Oh, sorry. No, we have a few more super chats before that. Sorry, my bad. Jeff Jacobs puts in $3. Let's get the likes going. We already did that one. Sorry. Polish Gamer, £5. So one question: is Calypso in the timeline where Control killed everything, or will season 3 lead to that? What do you guys think? I'm of the firm belief that at the end of season 3, they're going to find a way to get the crew back in time, just the crew of Discovery, not the ship itself. And they're going to say, like, if we can come back and get it, we will. And they just never do. That's why the ship's been sitting there for 1,000 years. I would like a tie-in with Calypso, though. I was really expecting that for this season, this episode, this finale. Didn't get it. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. So I think it's a good question whether it's in the same. I mean, they say Discovery sits there for 1,000 years, so they jump 930 years in the future. Takes a year for them to find a way home, and then Discovery sits for another 1,000 years. So it could be either one, whether a future of our timeline or the one where Control destroyed everything. Could be either one, but I like a future of the timeline where Control gets destroyed, to be honest. I think that'd be kind of cool. But
yeah, I mean, it does feel strange that they didn't link it in season 2.
It did feel very weird.
Kept calling out their word, kept trying to find a way, and it's not the same future time exactly. Or, well, not exactly. It opens more questions, but it would seem very odd to me that they would plan a short to set up season 3 before they even had a season 3 announced, because then you could do anything else. I mean, what if the short had instead been the Control, had been Leland, who we've always seen in the deleted scene, him on a Section 01 ship and doing a mini mission, and Control's there to help him, and you were like, oh, cool, Section 1 stealth mission, that's awesome. It's the Leland short. We don't know Control's important, but at the end of it, Control's like, really smart, and Leland's like, damn, I love this Control thing. Boom. We're like, cool. Yeah.
Well,
that would have set that up. That would have been more useful for this season, anyway.
Well, that opens up an interesting possibility, too, because Leland is dead in the spore chamber with the nanotech.
Well, Leland's been dead for a while, but...
Control is dead. Okay, yeah. Yes. And it goes to the future with Discovery. And we know that after sitting for 1,000 years, Discovery is sentient. So could it be that the Control nanites merge with the sphere data and actually become benevolent? They don't actually become evil? Because this Control is still in the spore chamber. Dead or alive. It's going to the future with the ship. So, and if it did need the spore data or the sphere data to become dangerous, it's still that possibility. I don't know. But the sentience of the ship is an interesting topic of conversation. I just want to see how that ties in with everything.
It's just weird they would do 3 sentient AIs in the same block as episodes. Discovery's AI, the Sphere's information AI, which is clearly self-aware and sentient enough to protect itself, and Control, which is clearly sentient. So you would it's an amazing shame not to link them. That said, it's probably going.
And Dan23 says Alex Kurtzman has said that the Control story is finished and it's gone. Yeah, but He said a lot of things. So
yeah,
I don't know if I believe him 100%.
He said it would line up with the canon. It didn't. So I mean, they tried a little bit, but poorly. They said they wouldn't use Spock. They did. Enterprise. I mean, they're not the most truthful people, guys. Remember that. They do lie, or at least they say things with intentions, and then they have to change them because people tell them to. And so, don't trust it until it happens. The thing is, the Control storyline is different to the Control character or the Control AI. If they're in the future and it can't kill life, that's the whole plot. Maybe because it gets the information earlier, it can be a nice AI. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It could be like I said, it could merge with ship's computer and it whatever. But it's still certainly likely that whatever leads to the Discovery being lost, that's the sphere data that, in the hands of one entity, created a even more sentient killer AI, and on Discovery it eventually created a nice, positive, friendly, loving AI. Otherwise, it's really bizarre.
Maybe Calypso happens in the mirror universe, and it's actually Control, but because it's the mirror universe, controls the nice caring sentient Discovery computer. It just has a goatee. We just can't see it because it's a ship.
But I guess I heard wrong. I mean, I kept saying that. I kept remembering I heard that Craft was in the season. He never was. So I guess I was wrong. I never heard that anywhere. I mean, he obviously wasn't. So, very strange. Very strange. Still, one of the best bits of Discovery we ever got was Calypso.
Yes. Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $4.99. Get off my ass. And no, I'm not going to do a half-ass job. Were my favorite one-liners. And the spoken Klingon, it's great. Yes, the spoken Klingon was good. And of course, the Jet Reno lines were great too. So.
Actually, yeah, I'll give them an honorable mention for Klingon done right. They spoke English where they had to, and they stopped a Klingon when it made an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's all he had to do. Seriously, get a bit angry, swapped a Klingon for 2 lines, swapped out to English. I didn't even notice they did that because it was so seamless. How you more classically do things.
Yeah, it sounded like Klingon. So, Clivoid, $5. Can someone explain how Control wasn't already AI or self-aware? We can't, because it was acting pretty self-aware. It had survival instincts. I don't know. We've actually that came up in one of the lives, I think, where we were wondering whether it was actually sentient. Because I think one of the contributing factors to sentience is self-awareness.
But that's more of a tomorrow discussion where we look at the negatives, and that is certainly the whole Control sub-storyline. Although before you jump onto that super chat, thank you for the super chatting, guys, and 220 people. Pretty good. Thanks for joining in. Dan23, the beginning short treks were not shown all over the world, so to have major storylines and something that half the people wouldn't see is not good. Yes, but only people paying CBS All Access are paying for the show properly, and they need people in All Access to pay them properly. On Netflix, they get a small cut, but Netflix gets a more of a chunk. I'm sure same with your Canadian network, and so they'd to put them on American is to get Americans, which is their primary audience. Otherwise, they would make All Access open to the world. Ladder. There's obviously more legal things that stop them, but it's an American show for American audiences first. And those short treks were another sign of this is for you guys first. Why else, Stuart, would all of the trailers on the Star Trek YouTube be locked at America? I mean, what's the point of locking interviews, locking behind the scenes to just America? It's because they just want they're very, very America focused, and it's a real shame.
Well, I mean, we got the short treks here in Canada free on network television, so.
And Netflix got them a few weeks later because they were as the show started. It was a marketing tool. They just for Americans, because if you gave them to everyone, then you wouldn't pay for All Access.
Well, I think the reason that we are getting spoiled here in Canada is because Space is a Toronto-based channel,
yes.
and it's filmed in Toronto. So I think there's some kind of deal. I don't know how that works, but anyway.
I bet you're right.
Yeah. Total Anthony puts in £1.99 and says, "Why not beam the Admiral away after she closed the door?" Well, because we figured maybe radiation, something. There's got to be a reason. I just didn't like her anymore. I don't know. There was nobody in the transporter room because they were all in shuttles.
Yeah. I'm. Someone says your audio is loud, my audio is low. Say something, please, Stuart.
Something, please, Stuart.
They're about the same. Okay, I'm a little bit lower, but okay, let me adjust them a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we've had torpedoes be interference before, so I'm not overly fussed about that. It would have been nice if they'd said that. But since the torpedo was seconds away from detonation, and secondary detonation, all that stuff, I'm not overly concerned about that. But the fact they didn't try, I mean, failed efforts are better than no efforts. It's funny. One of the fan films I've worked on is the Starship Republic fan film, which was ages ago now. Is one of the first ones, and they already shot their vignette first, and they got me to do VFX after the fact, and also I had no input on the actual story or anything. And the captain in it is written very weirdly, to the point that he basically sacrifices his ally ship because he doesn't do anything to try and save it. Nothing, to the point of kind of silliness, to lets all those 100 people die without any sort of effort at all. And it makes him lots of people have complained, it's like, this is not believable, and it's like, yeah, if you don't try, you look bad, because first order duty. And so when I do stories, I try and make everyone at least perceive as smart, because if you think they're smart, then the foes and situations they're facing, if your characters are smart, then situations must be really smart, even if you don't make them really, really smart, because if your smart characters can't figure them out, it must be even harder. If the characters are dumb and the situations are normal, then you as the audience think, well, I could just solve that. So I think it's really important to do that, personally.
And Nicholas Coletti made a good point. Why not put the handle for the manual release on the outside of the room?
Because there isn't outside the room, there's just a turbo lift.
I know. That's what I was just going to get to, but there should be one on each side of the door, generally.
And they didn't have they didn't have the other door for the set, because there's two bulkheads. You've said this before.
Yeah.
They didn't move the corridor there to then. Yeah, it would have made more sense. It was just a killer. There wasn't really any reason for it at all. At least if it had blown up the saucer, we'd have had a reason for it. A sad reason, but a reason for it. But they didn't even do that. Yeah.
And Troy Macy puts in $4.99. Battle of the AIs, like an Avenger Age of Ultron. That would be good. Oh, absolutely, it would be.
It would have been.
Yes.
Kind of done now.
Could still be.
So my number 6 is, you stole it first. I call it Defending the Enterprise. It's the heroic shot where it's pretty much the best bit of the battle. Obviously, it's above my other shot. And I've got nice pictures here where the drones are all amassing, or at least a lot of them amassing, for one single strike, and they'll start shooting Discovery, and you get this absolute cacophony of explosions. Although now looking at the shot, it's actually being hit from multiple directions, so it's still being hit the entire time. And this one maneuver takes down 20% shields, so you would assume they just keep shooting and take it down in a couple of minutes, but it doesn't quite happen. But in this shot, the massive amount of petrol explosions look really good, because it's just visually interesting, and it's overwhelming, but that's kind of the point. And it's just nice to see the Enterprise do something, and the fact that the Enterprise has so much more. I think at the end of the battle, the Discovery has the 9% and 0 shields, and Enterprise has like 30. And so there is information in this episode to tell us the Enterprise is a better ship with better technology. Because I think we've both agreed separately that our strategy would be to destroy Enterprise first, then Discovery. And so I don't think you could possibly argue that they're focusing all their attention on Discovery, and therefore the Enterprise has more shields, because if they're doing that, I don't think Discovery could survive. So it's either balanced attack, or more on the Enterprise. The Enterprise, until this moment, obviously, an Enterprise has more shields. So nice to see. I just like the maneuver and the entire sequence. I think it's really cool.
All right, well, my number 6, then, whatever it is, I don't know what number we're on, is a Klingon bridge. Finally got to see a Klingon bridge, which ties with my next one, which is the D7. I'm just going to jump in there with the D7 for number 5 as well. Seeing those jump into battle, it seemed like a little bit of fan service in a way, with the shortness of the clip, but I was appreciative of it because it was awesome to see. I didn't think they were going to be going to the future, so I thought we'd see more D7s maybe next season, which, I mean, we still can, but I don't know how it's going to work out.
But they might be Giorgio show based, Section 31.
Yeah.
Especially with Tyler Vok being the head of Section 31. It would be kind of fun to see them do, like, co-missions with L'Rell. She's definitely... if you have like 100 things of Discovery, she's in the top half of things in Discovery. Is the L'Rell character? So to use her more would potentially be good.
Until she gets thrown or assassinated for lying to the Klingon people about killing Tyler Vok.
No, it's fine, Stuart. She'll just kill everyone that's on the bridge.
Oh yes, that's
Secret
true.
safe. She's
Even
vicious.
Klingon Glenn Hetrick, which was also a cool nod. I didn't know that was him, but now that I see it and know who it is, it's like, yeah, it's Glenn Hetrick, all right.
Yes.
So that I'm gonna clump that in there with the bridge. It goes the same. Yeah. So Jeff Jacobs puts in $2 and says 100 reactions. Yay! I will pay again at 150. Make me pay.
Oh, so
50 more people need to make Jeff pay.
Okay,
Jeff is back, by the way, from holidays. So show your appreciation for Jeff, everybody.
Hi, Jeff.
Yay!
Everyone say we love Jeff. 3, 2, 1. We love Jeff. There we go.
We love Jeff. We love Jeff. My name is Jeff. Ian Warrender.
What?
Oh, nothing. Ian Warrender puts in £2 and a bunch of smiley faces for some reason. Thank you, Ian.
We're smiling at you too.
In a non-creepy way.
Well, speak for yourself. Don't know why I said that. Oh, there we go. Ha, good. And there's the bridge. And why? I mean, we've done a sort of video on this, but for our fans that might not have seen that, why is this bridge in your top tier of things you like about the episode? Because now people. Because
I didn't expect to see a Klingon. I didn't expect to see a Klingon bridge in the episode, so I was really surprised that we did. I didn't expect to see the view screen view, and I expected to see maybe Laurel on a view screen for Discovery or Enterprise, but not necessarily see the bridge itself. So I think they did a little bit more than they needed to as far as that went, but I really appreciated it, so that's why it's in my list. It's kind of got a Klingon look to it. The view screen view is a better view for feeling Klingon, though. But I liked it. So
now, one thing that someone actually called me out for saying I'm dumb-ish wasn't quite what they were saying, but the fact that I should have seen it. They were saying that this room is an obvious redress of the transporter room from Discovery.
Yeah.
And I was also quite confused about that because, to me, I don't know I can see it.
You know what was an obvious redress of the Discovery transporter room? And that was on Kaminar,
Yes.
the Baul facility. That room was just the transporter room. They did very little to change the appearance of it. So
It was a little bit embarrassing, wasn't it?
it was very embarrassing, yes.
Considering, if you do that, don't put any shots in that episode. Make people forget about that set as existent. Don't have you transport 4 scenes earlier and then show it again. It's a little bit embarrassing. But yes, Stuart, I mean, what do you think? I'm sliding through the 2 pictures. I mean, it's a heavy redress if it is, to the point of pulling down all the walls and redoing the floor and ripping out.
I mean, it's built and constructed in the same Canadian air. So does that count as a redress? It was in Toronto.
I mean, if they knew they weren't going to use the room again, they might have said, right, we're going to use the same space, because the floor has some slight similarities in the fact it's got some transparent looking bits, but the pillars, I mean, aren't the same, and it's bigger, and also it's got 2 new exits at the back which don't exist. So I mean, I think it was
used in the Harry Mudd short as the bridge of the other ship, the bounty hunter's ship.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that, because I'm half on that with you. I'm kind of maybe.
While you're doing that, I'll read another super chat.
Oh, super.
A chat. Matthew De Freitas puts in $5.
Thank you.
Favorite part, the restroom. It is that way. Wait, wrong show. Okay. Moving right along.
We have the best fans.
We do.
Ever. Just ever.
They're that way.
Can we even describe the quality of our fans? I mean, really though. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, how?
This Polish gamer puts in £5, so he's awesome.
Well, thank you.
I hope the Section 31 show explains why the Klingons' attitude changed and give us stuff on the augments. Basically, fix the canon issues with the Klingons. Yeah, we're going to do a video talking about the Cold War status of TOS and what might bring that about. But we haven't filmed that yet, but we will be doing that at some point. So,
But no, you should assume that the Klingons are forever this new way. I'd a safe bet. Okay, so the other room, yes, that does have similar beams on the ceiling, although they're not lit up. And the floor has I think it's probably that room, although I wonder, I suppose, well, that was the last short, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
So they probably had the bridge anyway, which is a redress of an older set they just ripped down, and they thought, well, let's just reuse this bridge for the runaway.
Well, I think that bridge was a redress of the Klingon brig for that Lorca and Ash were in. I think that say that that's the same set even as the Klingon bridge. So,
but at that point, it'd be heavily sort of ripped down. It'd be like the pieces of that set rather than the actual set, because hasn't been needed for a while.
Yeah, there's elements there that look similar. And
kind of wall slats and stuff. But I think you're right. I think this was a relatively good redress in the sense that we didn't know what the first one looked like, so there was nothing to compare it against. And actually, it's even got a podium that the person's on, the captain's on, and the view screen. That's funny. Yeah, it probably is the same set, and I'm sorry for the delay against it, but the view screen area in the redress, it's been filled in to put a teeny view screen, but the way there's the lights. Oh, Stuart, it's the brig. It's the brig. Wait for it to come up. No, not the Discovery Bridge, the Shinjo Bridge, because look at this. The four walls have the light rims, which are the brigs, which is why it was easy to cut out for the window to be put in. It's that big, nice area with multiple other pathways, because it's again those big cutouts. It's been hollowed out, and then it's been because that was in season 1, up until the end, never used again. But it's a big open space with multiple things. That I bet you is the basis of this room.
Very likely.
Let me find that from season 1.
You do that. It's Ripper's cell. Yeah. There are no more super chats to read.
Oh. So oh, guys. Well, I guess you can go to your next favorite. Oh, no, yours was the Clone Bridge, wasn't it? Okay, so I'll jump to mine, and then you can tell me what you think about it.
Well, mine was the bridge, and then the D7 was my 6 and 5.
Oh, okay.
And Glenn Hetrick Klingon was lumped in there too with part of the bridge. So.
Oh, so you really kind of.
That was my 6.5 or 5.5 between two of them.
So
I don't know where we are.
Skipped ahead for me, didn't you, Stuart? Oh,
I guess,
buddy,
whatever.
Pal. Oh dear, Stuart. And yeah, I'm trying to find the. That's see that. I'm right about some of it.
No, yeah.
Well, I mean, I am, but. So this is the brig, and as you can see, it's got a very similar looking outer lit bit of roughly the same proportions. I mean, obviously, you redress elements, so I think that's the basis of it, and then it's just a room that they just sort of. There's already LEDs there, so it kind of makes sense. But anyway, yes.
We got 1,000 ruble super chat from Mr. Eugene. And he says, 10 Spock, 9 second episode, 8 Calypso. Oh, he's doing all season 2. Remove Discovery and you will get cool Bradbury-like sci-fi stories. 7 to 1 Pike times 7. Pike times 7.
Okay.
There you go. And Troy Macy puts in $10 and says, some super chat love. Well, thank you very much, Troy. Much appreciated.
$10. Very, very kind. Okay, so my next one.
Yes, your turn.
I'll do 2 in a row, I guess. So I just did Defending the Federation. My next one, my number 5, is, and again, you nicked it. That's okay. Blue phasers, one and all. Blue phasers for everyone as they are.
What do you like? I'll drill you like you drilled me. What do you like about the blue phasers?
I like their canon consistency, their vibe, their link to both TOS and Enterprise and Intima Darkly. I like their use. I like their connections to phasable turrets. I like their punch. I like their glow in the darkness. I like the spectrum between brighter at the point they hit and less bright further from camera. I'm just being annoying now because you asked, and I'm giving you all the other answers that I wouldn't necessarily have unless you asked me specifically. Like the sound effects for the most part, although this will go. This will go. Like, wasn't quite the best sound design, but it was fine. It's just good. I mean, it's the simplest thing. You know, the simplest thing to get right was given blue phasers, and they did. So good. Yes.
Right, what's your next one? Because I jumped ahead with one, so.
Hopefully that means you'll get blue phasers from now on in Discovery. They won't get little pew-pews, you'll get actual beams. Because both ships have done phasers. So, hopefully the pew-pews are over and done with. Because, like, phasers are really impressive looking when you fire them. Like, it's very powerful, and they look good, and there's a lot of, like, energy being sent out. So my number 4 is our Prime Spock look-alike man person, finally in his full costume, on the bridge, in that last scene. I called it, although I'd hoped it would have been earlier, but it was exactly as I pitched tonally as a, like, final bonus thing for the fans. Like, we got Enterprise in Season 1, we got the Spock in Season 2, and it completely changes his look and his feel, but he looks... It's just great to see him and the characters in this, you know, visually rebooted bridge doing their thing. It gives a whole new feel. It feels more bright because the bridge is brighter. The vibe is very different, more friendly. It's smaller, so you can see a lot more easily. It looks more functional because it is a more functional bridge. And just Spock feels at home and does a good job. So it's just an overall, and just, you know, a reward for the actor because he's did a great job as Spock. So it's good that he actually got something as Spock. And you mentioned we did our first look of him. How do you think he actually looks in the context of the makeup?
Too baby-faced.
No, I know, but the skin tone is more what I'm referring to because we specifically call out skin tone as such as being a thing.
Yeah, it's not as warm as the humans there. So, good call on that, guys. You did good.
Cool.
But yeah, he needs a longer face. But well, my next one is number 1. I'm getting confirmation her name's Una. Seeing her a little bit more in action. We just didn't get enough of her, and the way that she kind of talked to Detmer. Detmer was giving her instructions, and she's like, "Whoa, like, I need to be able to follow these. Calm down." That's comic book panel time when that happened. That was kind of odd for me because she's supposed to be super smart, like a walking computer, essentially, and it didn't fit with her character. But seeing her doing some more things, she went down to deal with the torpedo. We got to hang out with Cornwell a little bit, so it was nice seeing her actually kind of fleshed out a little bit, not as much as she should be or could be, but it was nice seeing her character.
Yeah, I don't know if fleshed out is the right word because we didn't develop her at all. She was in it, but that character could have been anybody, and it could have been Sulu. Would have made no difference to anything that happened. It's like they wanted to commit to the idea of that character, but they didn't want to actually give them any time.
Yeah.
But Una's fine. Una's nice. You know, I mean, I know you already knew about that from the books. I mean, it's fine. It's I know it means one another language, but it's not like Anne or Jane, which is good. It's just
yeah.
But it's not. Yeah. What's the second name? Oh, the new mystery. What's the second name of number 1? Or is it Una 1?
Una 1. Prime.
Well, that's my job, Barrett.
Una Optimus Prime.
Oh.
I mean, one. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. Loved the science station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, way to tip my hand there. It's kind of like my next favorite thing was the science station and Spock together.
Oh.
That's Thank you for ruining that for me, because you said yours before me, so now I know what it feels like to be stealing things, or having things stolen from you. And Clivoid puts in $2. Peck always looks like he's smirking a little bit. Yeah, he does look better with the beard, in my opinion, even though he looks like a wolf man. It's just, I think, because we were used to seeing him so much with the beard that when he shaved, it was odd. If he had come in without the beard initially, I think it would have been a totally different scenario.
Or like flashbacks to set us up would have been really nice.
Yes, yeah, something like that. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah.
And also number one, to back up your thing, when I watched, I think it was the interview with the new showrunner. She was saying how she loved Rebecca Romijn's performance. She had so much, power and charisma to the character. And I'm thinking, oh, hopefully she'll get more than the 2 lines in the other episode that she appeared in. It's like, I know that you're meant to promote your show, but the problem with promoting it beyond the point of realism is that, like, an actress reads a script. Like, if Nichelle Nichols, reads a script in the 60s and she has 3 lines. One is, yes, sir. One is, Hailing Frequencies Open. One is, 10 minutes away. She's not gonna read that script and think, wow, great. She's gonna think, okay, I guess I'm getting paid, my 2 days worth of money because I have to be on set. Rebecca Romijn didn't think, wow, this is really my breakup performance. Wow, I'm really getting to do a lot of stuff. She thought, I'm in Star Trek, awesome. I get to do some cool stuff. I get to be with a torpedo. Like, there's nothing there. There's nothing there, but she's there. Whereas Spock actually has some stuff to do. Pike gets stuff to do, obviously, and that's why we quite like the tactical officer on Enterprise. She actually made a impression and made a place for herself, which more than number one did. Although people keep referencing the yum yum line or yummy, which is a weird line that she said at the episode that was very out of place. And so I think number one was, but then again, she was, you could say, criminally underused in Cage in terms of character, because that's all we ever got. But I think she left more of an impression than this number one. Majel?
Yeah, Majel did, for sure. Because she was the original, and yeah, she seemed a little bit, I don't know, there was something off about number one, but I did appreciate seeing her and them actually attempting to do something with her. So.
Well, it's better that she was there and wasn't. Although, like I said in the first review, it's weird that she penalised Detmer for saying something in the correct terminology, despite you're meant to be also trained in all of this stuff. And she's a lower rank. Why are you having a hissy fit? It seemed very strange. Just weird.
Yeah. Michael Elliott puts in $5 and says, it drives me crazy, but didn't Spock have green tinted skin to take away from the more satanic look of his pointed ears? I want Spock. Yes, he did in TOS. And we just talked about skin tone here. He's got very much more pale complexion than the other characters, as you can see by this picture. Probably a green tint. I'd have to go specifically look, but...
Yeah, I get the vibe they haven't done anything to the skin, kind of as a... I like Species 8470's comment. I think Naan is yummy.
She is.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Russ Knuckle Iron Gut puts in an awesome super chat donation of I don't know what.
It's £10, awesome. Which is actually awesome. Thank you. Well, it's £9, awesome, but I'm rounding up. £10, £9.
Yes.
Thank you.
This one is just because you made a video about my biggest irritation this season, Pike's immortality. Thank you. Yeah, that was an interesting discussion. And there's still another thing to follow up on that, somewhat. But
there's a lot of good stuff to talk about this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number one after the Spock classic, as I called it.
Oh, number one?
Well, you skipped a whole lot of things. I said there's another one. There's another one, not number one.
I did number 3, and then there's 2 more still.
Okay, cool. Number 3, the Enterprise Bridge in general. because we do get some good shots. And I love this end shot because it while being a bit too super wide in its presentation, it does have a nice vibe. Yes.
We should just combine our 2 and 1 because they're probably the same. You're talking about the bridge. That's my number 1.
Okay, that's my number 3.
Well, my number 3 was Spock in the science station.
Good.
But anyway, I'll just go give my last 2. We're just going to talk. There you go. Boom. That's my list. Just blew my load.
No, you cut out at that exact moment. I don't know what you said.
Are you serious?
Yeah. All I heard was,
okay.
Here they go. And now it blew my load. It's like, the audience heard nothing.
Fine. No, it's fine. It's good. And okay, I'll start again. So yeah, Spock was number 3, as you guys know. Spock and the science station together. That was nice. Number 2 is Pike, and number 1 is Enterprise Bridge. So.
Well, let me finish my number 3, and then you can mention your number 2.
Pike.
Oh, no. Really, your number 1 is Enterprise Bridge. That's your favourite thing about the episode?
Yeah.
Why? Because my number 3. So why is that your favourite thing about the episode? Is the bridge?
Because it's awesome. You get to see it blowing up. You get to see rock installation. You get to see it nice and pristine at the end, and it's looking really nice. And like I said, firing up the science station, having the correct Moire pattern screen, and have it be like a LED screen, not really like the original one, but kind of upgraded. That's how you upgrade things. That was really nicely done. So that's why I like the bridge. I don't like the little flashing lights that alternate. It's like, why are those there? But whatever.
I think they ran out of things to spend their money on, so they spent things on more things. No, the bridge is definitely number 3 for me because it's given so much time, and that's key. Is the Enterprise bridge. It's got a lot of time. I love the difference in the destruction model between Discovery and Enterprise. Discovery is very much like rocks. Enterprise is very much like sparks, but it's fine until like a console literally explodes in fire, but we don't see a like scorched console, so there isn't a repercussion so much as that. But I like the different style because TOS was always more sparks, and so was TNG, but Discovery is more real. I like the vibe difference for sure, and just the bridge is just good. It's still a little bit too big, a bit too shiny, and a few too many lights. But it's funny. I mean, this is a good example of a visual update, but it'd be kind of fun to have this built in 3D simply by one of our artists, and then to sort of refine it back a little bit. How would you make this one 25% more canon? Say, how could they've done a refit for the end of the season? Because how nice would it have been if actually the last shot would have been a slightly updated Enterprise with the correct pylons, no bridge window, no registry spotlight illumination, and then you come in and the bridge, they've like painted the floor matte, all per quick carpet.
Yeah.
All the blue displays are now showing multicolours. That's it. That's all you have to do. that's it. There's 2 things, and turn off some lights, and that'd be it. And it'd be nice, like, ooh, a little bit of a refit. Would have been cool. But yes, number 3 for sure for me.
Yeah.
My number 2 is
number 1. No.
My number 2 is absolutely the D7s coming in, because for me it is one shot, but it's a symbol of the show understanding what it needs to be, and it's the greatest symbol of the show saying, we're sorry, we made a mistake with season 1. Here's an we never thought based on season 1 we'd get an actual Klingon design. While we hoped, I think I was convinced that they were going to double down on their mistake and keep showing their old design. We'd see a co storyline with the Klingon half and then the Federation half. We'd see all the Klingon ships because they already bought them and they'd be going around. And not a single one except Cleave ship. That was actually the purpose. But we saw D7s and they look great and they're very respectful and they're up detailed, and I love the rationale behind the engines. Like, there's a lot of thought went in there that almost reflects, and I said this to someone today about the dry dock, is that the dry dock very much feels like no designer was involved, because they keep having these instructions to make it look like Discovery style.
Yeah.
That someone in the art team was given the task and they did it over a weekend in their own time, And obviously, if you're making a dry dock or a D7, you make a dry dock or a D7. You don't sketch out concepts of shapes in the battle cruiser. On a battle cruiser Eagle Moss, it says the guy just built like 10 silhouettes of 10 shapes, and then asked them to pick their favorite that made a ship out of it. And it's like, what? Excuse me. What garbage is that?
Yeah.
But you want to design it. Ooh. But no, a guy just in the art department said, "Oh, I'll build this every weekend. Boom, here's D7. Great, cool, done." It has that vibe, and so this D7 is absolutely excellent. And it needs to be in the Section Day 1 show. I cannot wait for an Eagle Moss version to see it in all its glory. Hopefully in Star Trek Online it'll be. There's no reason not to have it. It'd be kind of nice to see it go around. And get a sense of how big it is, because we love our scale charts on this show. It'd be nice to get a sense of how big it is, so we can compare it to the Negvar and Vorcher and stuff. Would be interesting. That's my number 2. So back to Super Chats.
I'm glad it's so high on your list. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty much flawless. Happy. Yeah. For me anyway.
There are no more Super Chats. We already hit them all, so...
Oh, well then you talk about your number 2 Pike then.
Pike, just overall, this whole season has been fantastic and a standout. This episode, he kind of did have less pikey uniqueness to him. He was more of a captain just doing his thing until the end there, where he goes down to the torpedo, and it's the whole tied up with his immortality plot armor. But still, he had very Pike-like moments, like, number 1, get up here, I'm going to take care of this. Again, it's not really adding to the character at this point, because we know he can't die, so him going down there is not showing any kind of bravery. It's just the most logical choice to make, almost. So it doesn't build his character that way, but still, Anson Mount as Pike was fantastic, especially that last scene where he's like, hit it. I'm glad that he said hit it and not punch it, because punch it I absolutely hate, even though it works with the Pike in the JJ universe. It's fine. It suits that Pike for sure. It would have suited this one too, but I was just hoping against hope he didn't say it, and the fact they changed it to hit it was awesome. To me, punch it feels more like something Han Solo would say to Chewie. Doesn't feel like a captain's order per se. But yeah, I think Pike did a great job in this episode. He did a great job all season, and there were more standout moments for Pike in other episodes, more so than this one. But again, because of the entire season, he was one of my favorite things about this episode, because he's just been always on point and just doing a fantastic job. So
just a side comment here, back on the D7, if that's right. Dwarven Thane says, well, this proves they used the D7s for over 250 years? Question mark, lol. No. The D7s, the same style of design, yes, but I mean, you look at the ships with saucers and pylons and cells, they're used all the way from an extra Enterprise E. But you've got the D7 and Katingas, and I'm sure Katinga Refit and Katinga Mark 7, and you know what I mean. The ones from DS9 are not the same Katingas from Star Trek 6. They're not the exact same. They're not gonna be all the same ship. And I think just as in Enterprise Season 1, Episode 3, they show a DS9, literally a DS9 D7. Also in Discovery Episode 3, they mention a D7, and it's not a D7. And now we know these are L'Rell mentions D7 in English on her bridge. So these are now officially called D7s in canon in Klingon terms, both in subtitles and humans. That is what they call them. Done, confirmed, which I didn't realize until right now. Now confirmed. But the fact that obviously not a D7 as well, that means that yes, those pre-D7 goofs are actually just continuity errors. But there's one in each show, because it's the first D7 out there. We've now got an actual year begin of the D7, which actually means the Enterprise is quite a bit older than D7. I was about to say newer, but the Enterprise is much older, actually. Because Pike had 5 years, and then April had 5 years before that?
Say that again, sorry.
Well, since we know the exact year the D7s were launched, the Enterprise is quite a lot older. Which we didn't know before. We assumed they'd be around at the same time, but since we had 5 years of Pike, then 5 years of April before that?
At least, yeah.
So the Enterprises are 10 to 12 years older. and we must have had a pretty serious weapons refit, despite losing all its phaser ball turrets for TOS. If you can actively take on a D7 and feel like there's a sense of things, it's a 10-year-old, 10 to 15 newer year ship.
Well, the problem there is we're trying to make sense of Discovery Verse and Prime Canon and make them both be the same thing, and they're clearly not. So,
but it looks like a D7.
It does.
It's probably at least 50% bigger than a D7.
At least 25% bigger.
Oh god. Which is funny because then now the problem with that sort of thing is that we know, well, the window size for one, but also the torpedo launcher. Now, if this proportion looks the same, but is now that 30% bigger, the torpedo launcher in the original is about the right size to fire a torpedo.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's huge. So why do you need a big thing to fire a teeny torpedo? A little bit redundant.
A little bit.
Anyway, my number one, Stuart. Can you guess what it is? Or not mentioned?
Number one.
My number one for the audience, as you can see on the live. Da da da. Da 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 da. It's the Enterprise in dry dock at the end.
Oh, see, that should have been my number one. God damn it.
That's mine. No, it's mine. That is my number one.
It's mine too.
Nope.
Yep. It's on the list. It's on the list right there.
Oh yeah, it's not talking about now. Oh yeah, wow, yeah. It's my number one moment because it is actually Star Trek. And it is part of a nice sequence. The dry dock is 10 out of 10. It's again, same like I said earlier. It was clear design that was not designed by a designer. It was put together by the art team by someone who actually cares about Star Trek rather than other ships and other times. Whoever thought to alter John Eve's design of the Baran or the Europa to move the bridge to the top and take out the torpedo bay is like, no, you made a massive mistake. That's the wrong thing to do. It really hurts that design massively. This is a excellent dry dock. It is just the NX-01 dry dock plus the TOS TMP dry dock. It's got the top of the TMP, sides of the Enterprise with a few bits of bobs in between. That's it. But it's absolutely beautiful. It's a really nice iteration. There's so many details. There's way too many glowy, like little white dots because they can't all be windows. Even though now the ship's obviously bigger, but blah blah blah. So it doesn't quite whatever. But functionally, it looks great. It has a great vibe. As you go by, it's beautiful. Little lights and. Biggest missed opportunity in the show was the Enterprise not being refitted at all. But that said, it mostly looks great. It kind of shows you, though, that how good the refit looks good in dry dock. Because this ship looks kind of squat with a weird neck because of its squat proportions. Actually, it looks worse in dry dock than TMP by quite a lot. But that said, as a shot, it's still great.
Yeah, it would have been great to see a kind of a refit or a changed ship after the battle damage. But that being said, they had just already taken it out of months worth of repair for this mission. So it's not like, oh, we just upgraded you with subpar parts. But now that you actually were in a battle and earned it, here you go. Here's the new refit stuff. So I'm almost glad they didn't do that, because it would have been like, why did you just fix it to be that way and then right away fix it to be a new design? I would have loved to have seen the straight struts. When I saw the dry dock and they started panning over it, I'm like, oh, no, oh shit. It's kind of a letdown that it was still the angled struts, but there's still opportunity, I guess. There's still a few years before Kirk gets command, so who knows what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, although that's very, very true, except on the saucer. The saucer was, because the original damage was just they scanned a red signal, and for some reason only those first 7 signals were killing sensors and the ship. Never again, they scan it at point blank and never anything, and that was forgotten ultra quickly. But at that point it was still whatever. So that was all software problems, not hardware problems.
Yeah.
Whereas destroying half the source is a hardware problem. So I could see them deciding to do a refit then, and because if you're already spending 3 months in dry dock actually repairing stuff, it's like, well, let's just test out the new straight pylons, which are theoretically plug and play. So,
well, they wouldn't be though, because the position on the secondary hull would be different. That's the problem with angled pylons. You got to move the connecting point on the secondary hull, which means you got to relocate engineering. so it's kind of an issue, kind of a major overhaul to do that. Anyway, we got some super chats we're going to address.
Yeah.
Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. Pike was amazing. Glad he was there. Absolutely. Clivoid puts in $2. I love the black D7, he says. Yeah, the coloring was actually interesting. I did like that they went with something a little bit different, because this is, still before TOS. So again, you got a chance for the nacelles to be upgraded or changed for TOS, because the nacelles are somewhat different here, and also the plating, the armor, which should be fine. And Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99, just because of the hashtag ship porn. Sexy shot there. Well, hashtag ship porn is for Z Films. Because trust me, it's on his shirt. If you haven't subscribed to Z Films, go do so on YouTube. It's worth it. He's a good guy.
Yeah, good guy. Met him, and certainly worth subscribe.
See you later, Jamal. Jamal's got a bail.
Have a good one. So yeah, that's my top 10. Just to reiterate for the fans. Number 10 were the wormhole effects, both the personal one and the ship-based one. Number 9, the truly fleet battle shot, the one shot where you actually see a fleet battle of capital ships, the only one in the entire episode. Number 8, the Section 301 new designs, the 4 nacelle, 2 nacelle, and other 2 nacelle, or Miranda as Stuart calls it. Number 7, the San Francisco shot, because it's just beautiful. Number 6, the Defending Enterprise shot. It's just a nice looking shot. Number 5, blue phases in general. Number 4, classic Spock. Number 3, the Enterprise bridge in general. Number 2, the D7 saves the day, I call it. And number 1, the Enterprise in dry dock. And Stuart, for the fans, can you reiterate yours?
I don't remember. Some of them weren't written down. I've got as number 9. I don't remember what number 10 was, because I don't know anything written
Yours
down.
are out of order. It's fine.
What's not written down? It's blank. I don't know what I put in number 10. Anyway, number 9 was the I'm not going to number them. I'm just going to say them. The battle shot with the Enterprise saving the day, taking the bullet, the drones swooping in and protecting Discovery. We've got the. It's just a mess. Anyway, Klingon bridge / Klingon Glenn Hetrick. D7s, number 1, Spock, Pike, Enterprise bridge, Jet Reno. Jet Reno was up there too. I moved her around and scratched that out. So, but anyway, I don't remember what else I said, because it's not on my list. I do have a list for the tomorrows though.
Yes, that'll be an interesting list.
I'm disorganized.
That'll be an interesting list for sure. Got to really hammer down those points for the top worst things of the season finale. But hope you guys have enjoyed this positive look, because there are obviously positives. We found about 18 between us, 17 between us, as we didn't share all of them, maybe 16. Can't say story is a top positive. Can't say plot. But moments, as we've said before, all these episodes have good bits and bad bits, and that's why we get bashed at sometimes for saying, why did you complain about so many things and you give it a high score, or why do you say it's not all bad or not all good? It's like, because there can be moments of pure genius and moments of pure trash, and lots of moments of wow, that was weird, and that's
or a barely coherent story that's actually put together into a really entertaining format. It happens sometimes, so it's still enjoyable. It's just doesn't make much sense. Yeah.
So
and because it's our show, we can say what we want.
And to be fair, I think we're super consistent. I think we're super, what's the word? Not hypocritical. Someone called that us the other day, and I don't even see how we could be called hypocritical. That seems.
What?
Yeah, we're very actively not. We try not to be. No, but there you go. All positives. I really need to get a drink of water because my throat is killing me right now. But if you just talk to the chat for a second, do click like, and then we'll do a quick Q&A, and then we'll say goodbye.
Yes. Yes. So click like, guys, and don't forget to make Jeff pay. We have to hit 150 super chats. No, not super chats. 100. My God. 150 likes. Sorry, guys. I'm tired and issues today. So, but I'm here. And tomorrow will be better, hopefully. Tomorrow's our 10 things that we don't like about Discovery. I've got 7 listed so far. But I'd like to thank you guys for all tuning in. If you have anybody has any more that they want to say about this episode as far as what they like the best about it, feel free to super chat or just put it in the chat. Like the video, share the video around when it's done, all that kind of cool stuff. And just let people know about Trekyards. We would love to build our numbers. And we've got, we're almost at 16 million views, I believe. So best channel on YouTube. Thank you, Drew Roberts. I wish that were true. But anyway, much appreciated. So yeah, just thanks for the compliment there. And it's called the best channel on YouTube, just so you know.
Wow. It's not our intention, but thank you.
But yeah, like, by all means, hit like. I mean, got 217 people here.
That's awesome.
If everybody hit it, that would be awesome. But anyway.
So yeah, but today we released a good video on the Captain Pike's plot armor. Makes no sense.
Yes.
Question marks. Yesterday was the drone ship first analysis. And on Saturday was Discovery's D7. And I'm thrilled to say we have over 10,000 views for our final episode review of the season. And your first reaction from last week has 12,000 views, Stuart.
I know. It blows me away that many people watch a video that we make, right? It just... I don't know. I know. I've got fear of public speaking. And yet, speaking to a camera with that many views, it's like insane. 16 million views or whatever tonight, apparently, Jeff says. Our channel's hit 16 million hours watched or whatever. I don't know.
I think it's million views. Yeah.
I don't watch the analytics and the statistics very much.
That's my job.
Yeah, it is.
And it's funny to see that we did a really long episode. I remember it was our longest thing at the time. It was the USS Discovery Alpha breakdown. We had Barry Chapman's wonderful model. That, I mean, I painstakingly looked at every part of that design and found every small thing. 40 minutes, one video. For us at the time, 2 years ago, was amazing. It's at 77,000 views. So it got what it was worth, and that was our biggest at the time. October 15th, 2016. Oh, we're more naive then.
Yes. Jeff Jacobs puts $3. Thank you, Jeff. Hit like, have friends subscribe. So I guess we haven't hit 150 likes yet, but that's okay. He's still paying because he's awesome. But yeah, guys, if you have anything else you want to contribute, by all means, put it in here. This is a little bit shorter video because we're wrapping up before the 2-hour mark, which is nice. But let us know what you think. And tomorrow should be fun. We're going to talk about the bad things about this episode. It'll be an interesting list from both of us, I'm sure.
And also, it'd be because I do. Well, I don't normally rate things 1 to 10. I think that would be interesting if you could actually rate it.
I hate doing that. But I hate doing that because it changes from one day to the next. When I write it, it's like, and I think of something better and I want to squeak it in there.
That's fine though. Like, I'd like to see what you genuinely don't like the least about it. Because that was a fun exercise to actually work out what I like the most. Like, I realized I didn't know I liked the dry dock scene the most until I broke it down. I was like, oh, I do actually. I didn't realize that until I really thought about it.
Well, that should have been on my list. So that's my 0.
Oh, honorable mentions. I have like 3.
Oh, I don't.
I thought about mine.
I didn't have time to think about mine.
I know.
That's the problem.
No. Yeah, I did it not right before the live, but I did it a few minutes before. My honourable was the anti-gravity room, the battle, the fight, but very specifically the way it was shot, not the fight or how long it was. The fight wasn't very good and it was very long, but the way it was shot, it stayed flat, but they moved on the room, looked great.
Yeah.
Normally you like move with them, and that's been done before, but I like the fact that we stay same perspective, but they move. Oh, that was great.
Yes.
But the fight was bad, not believable at all, and we'll get into that later. The long engineering, the one of the first shots of the episode, long engineering shot where it said long take, Everyone's moving, everyone's talking. It's just got good energy. Doesn't make much sense to the scene, but it's got a really nicely composed scene. I said Spock's acting, which I guess technically means Spock acting at the end and lying to people because Ethan Peck is the actor and he's the one that's acting.
Yeah. That's it? That was 3? Okay.
Yep. Sorry.
Jill Wright puts in $2.
Hi,
Hoping
Jill.
for TNG rewatch chats before the Picard series. Yeah, we just talked about that today. We thought doing season 1 of TNG, do one a week kind of thing, might be fun.
Yeah.
Same style we did Discovery in.
As long as people arrive, we need to make about 120-ish bucks alive to keep the channel afloat, which is very doable, as long as it's doable. Like, that's it, really. As long as people tune in. I'm really excited if we do a TNG stream, personally. And I think it'd be really fun, especially the Blu-rays. Like, I know you've watched them on Blu-ray, but I haven't seen all of them in Blu-ray quality. And although that's a bit of a cheat, in a sense, because then we can look at VFX from an up-resed, up-enhanced, better version. So it's not exactly, how it was originally composed back in the 80s and 90s. But it's the storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
and the acting.
And people will be surprised that we do nitpick and we point out the plot holes in TNG, because that was one of the complaints, that you guys are so nitpicky. All Star Trek has its flaws, and we're like, yeah,
Obviously.
it does.
Doesn't mean yours should have them too.
Yeah.
I said this before, just because old shows, like, just because an old Doctor Who show might be, like, if an old Doctor Who show is racist because at the time it was okay, doesn't mean you can be racist now. Just because an old show gave women only screaming parts doesn't mean you can do it now. The past does not define your ability as a TV show now. Otherwise, why are shows that do better in the first season, why aren't they also saying, well, other shows are crap? It's like, no, a show should be amazing because it's made now if it's done amazing. There isn't an excuse. They were made at a different time, different budget, whatever. It doesn't mean the same thing. If it did, then every new BSG should get a miniseries, should get a movie first, because all the other two did. Every time a new BSG, so the gender should swap for characters. Well, why? Because the other one did. Like, there's not reasons for that. That's a contrived thing. I just hate that argument.
Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $2.99. Matching Jeff. Thanks for the great live tonight. Well, thank you guys. The mods all do a fantastic job. Thank you very much, guys, for doing your job and being awesome. So, and then Eugene puts in 153 rubles. I see 153 likes. That's a ruble a like, guys. That's awesome. So thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, and if we did do a TNG, say season 1, anything you're excited to look at? I did a little quick Google search of season 1. Anything that rings a bell of you'd be interested in looking at or excited for?
Just the revisit of it, to be fair. I mean, I've watched it a few times, obviously, but just breaking it down like we do, scene by scene, and actually taking the time to pull out the good and the bad from each episode. Because a lot of times even though I've watched something quite a few times, if I actually start reviewing it, I notice different things, or it's something you notice that I didn't. And it'd be interesting also to see the reuse of props and things like that, because those are the fun little, like, behind the scenes things. And now that we've talked to Rick and Doug, and kind of a feel for what some of the stories have been, it'll be really interesting to go back and watch those kind of things. So that's what I'm excited about.
Well, we have a personal connection with TNG because we know so many people that worked on it. I think for me, slightly more Voyager, because obviously I know more people worked on it in both behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and like Garrett Wang knows me. Like, we've talked, met like 7 times, and he knows me each time. But TNG certainly is the core to go through. I mean, season 1 is historically the worst season, but it was trying to find its feet. It didn't know exactly what it wanted to be. But I'm interested if the sci-fi is maybe the best out of all the seasons, because it had the original sci-fi writers on, it had the TOS people, it had all of Gene's power involved, so it had
Gene's vision.
So maybe it had some of the best sci-fi, and obviously it sets up a lot of the cool things like the holodecks and the Q, and a lot of the concepts were then led on to and later. But it's funny, we're going back to 1987. I mean, when was the first time you watched TNG? Did you watch it live? Because you were certainly
Hmm.
around.
Hmm.
Ah,
I
so
remember the build up for it, and it's like I remember I forget how old I was, but I was stupid. Like that far in the future from the other Star Trek that I've seen, which was TOS at the time. Why don't they just beam planet to planet? Why do they even need a ship? I remember being a snarky little shithead kid that was bugging my
that is
brothers
annoying.
about it because my brothers were like big Trek fans. That's the reason I'm into it. But I remember being that little asking the stupid questions and you know. So yeah, I remember it first run. I remember being pretty impressed during the first episode and going, "Wow, this is pretty epic to see it
Hey.
back on TV."
Okay, it's not. Which is funny because obviously I watched it super out of sequence.
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever done an active rewatch in episode order from the start. I know I've done seasons, but again, once you know TNG is the worst season, why would you start and watch all the bad season of TNG? You know, whereas you just
Yeah.
go back and watch really good episodes of TNG. So I know that, and I've
I
got
just,
I
yeah,
yeah,
no, I watch it from the beginning. When me and Sylvie do rewatches, we just rewatch the whole thing. So,
yeah, I haven't watched TV in like 12 to 13 years. Even when I was younger, I taped stuff. I actively chose what I watched. I never just put on this channel and watched all day. I haven't done it for so many years that when that was able to watch it just continuously, I never would. Um, so I've been never that kind of watcher. So um, yeah. So I'll be interested to see, and obviously your perspective, and you have those memories still the first time you watched them. So you've got a much
mm,
more first run. I've got a much more uh, franchise feel. Because I know obviously I'm going to link to a bit greater canon than you will, but you're going to link to whatever.
mm.
Yeah.
William Schaefer puts in $5. If you're gonna do a TNG rewatch pre-Picard show, I'd recommend the pivotal character development episodes. We're just gonna watch all of them. To be fair, um, yeah.
Yes, and we've got a year. I mean, it comes out this year, so we've got six. I mean 6 months of weekly, we can cover like 4 seasons. If we really want to like take it seriously, we could cover like 4 seasons of TNG. If we really wanted to, I don't necessarily want to do that, but we could do.
Yeah.
And Rust Knuckle Iron Gut guys do a Throne Yards podcast that is 100% clickbait driven, and it will cover all Trekyards costs.
Yeah, I saw that.
What's the problem with that, Stuart?
I have no idea.
Oh, Stuart's never
Besides that,
seen. Yeah,
don't watch Game of Thrones yet. Yeah.
Stuart has no
Um.
thoughts, and I do have thoughts, but we're a Trek show, and without enough people watching it, I don't think that would clickbait enough people. And I haven't got necessarily the time to do lives myself. I've got some other things I could be doing. That's why it's good
Mhm.
to,
Plus, we're not. That's not our forte. So
I mean,
no.
okay, if we had 1,000 people watching and 500 super chats, I mean, I would love to talk about Game of Thrones, but I don't think our subscribers will click on that. It's a bit
The
random.
ship. We're the ship guys that eventually went into like talking about Star Trek as a whole. So yeah.
I mean, hey, maybe I could do a poll on the Trekyards Facebook group saying, "Would you like me to do a Samuel Cockings driven Game of Thrones live?" And if we get like 600 people saying yes, okay, sure. Um, but it's I have a lot of other things to do with my time that even if it would earn money, it's like, well, I have to actually earn the money.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But
What are you gonna say?
say anyway, guys, we should probably get going
Oh, I was
because
just going to end one more comment because it's interesting. The contrary says, evocative production says TNG was great season one. Only had a few bad episodes. So that's interesting that we've got a dissenting opinion straight from the offset. So I'm intrigued.
it was new, and then we saw later seasons and realized how shit it was. When it was new, it was great.
Although I wonder now if you did for inflation, what the budget would be like for TNG because it was expensive at the time. It was given a really hefty budget. Is it half as much money as Discovery? A third? And what they achieved. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the beautiful effects are going to look even better than Discovery, because miniatures and just realism factors are going to look a lot better in a lot of the ways. But But yeah, Stuart is clearly leaving the show, so we can say.
Yeah, I got shit going on, guys. I gotta go.
All right, we'll
So
enter the frame again in the middle. We can say goodbye. But thanks guys for joining in. We'll see you tomorrow for our least favorite things of Discovery, the final episode. Thanks so much, guys. Until tomorrow, I'm Commander Coggins.
and I'm frozen, but I'm Captain Foley.
Bye, guys. Okay, go, Stuart. Go.
Bye.
Bye.
What am I doing?
Going.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, bye.